Hello, Amber.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
How are you doing?
Oh, how you doing? I'm doing good.
How you doing?
So, I'm excited to talk about this book. This book is called A Very Bossy Billionaire by Scarlett Avery. And I don't know, I feel like this book came at like the right time for us because I felt like sometimes when you get into like this book funk, there's only a certain type of book which will snap you out of it. And I feel like this book, the genre, the tropes, the kinks, the quirks, like those change every time you're in a slump or you're heading into a slump. And I felt like we were on our way there. We read some good books, but I just felt like this slump was imminent. Like it was coming. It was like this dark cloud. And I read the sample of this book. I don't know how it came across my feed or anything like that. And I just remember messaging you and I said, I found the perfect book for you right now. And I feel like it's safe to say that the feeling was mutual, right? I feel like this book got us out of that danger zone.
Welcome to Morally Gray Babes. We're your hosts, Jen and Amber, two unapologetic book addicts, diving deep into the steamiest reads, hottest book boyfriends, and those spicy moments that make you blush.
Amber here, and we're not just here to talk plot twists and character arcs. We're breaking down everything from our favorite quotes to the spice levels that really bring the heat.
Expect a lot of laughs, a little cussing, and some seriously hot takes. Whether we're gushing over fictional men or dishing out the truth on what books deserve the hype, nothing is off limits.
So buckle up, Buttercup, and get ready for real, raw, and totally unfiltered book talk. Because we're the book besties you didn't know you needed.
Yeah. And just for you guys to know, like we typically read about 3 to 4 books a week. And we go in and out of different genres and we really kind of go on our feelings. Amber calls them palate cleansers and it's perfection.
There you
And you're right. Like we can get into a slump and sometimes read 2 or 3 books back to back that we didn't even finish because they weren't going to be, if they're not rated a 3 or higher, you're not going to hear about them on here because we're not going to come on just to bash books, right?
No.
So yeah, so I love when Amber comes up with these sort of rom-com-y type books that like are an easy read, a good giggle, and it kind of gets you through. So yeah, I liked it.
And so I also want to say that some of our palate cleansers aren't just these like contemporary rom-coms. Like some of the palate cleansers are like, hey, I got this monster romance, or there's this alien romance. Like you never know what my palate cleansers are gonna be. It's just like, for instance, we were on this like dark mafia kick, and I was like, I need a palate cleanser. Here's a monster romance. Here you go.
Which will come out on the podcast soon. Yes.
So
Yeah.
So I feel like this one was exactly what we needed. And I was looking for, and I'll just list the tropes, but it's like a billionaire workplace romance, kind of enemies to lovers a little bit, a curvy heroine, an alpha male, forced proximity, slow burn to high heat. There was like power dynamics with the boss employee interactions. And I don't know, I feel like maybe a little bit of forbidden love, right? Like a professional relationship that crossed the line into romance. So I would say this book was like a contemporary romance. I would even say it was kind of steamy and erotica, maybe a little. There's a
A
lot of
little. Yeah.
explicit scenes, office romance, but there was also some comedy mixed in. I feel like that's just
Yeah. We need to have a little humor or
banter.
like sharp, witty, like banter. Yes. And this also had that pressure that you feel that you know something's brewing between the two, and for miscommunication or wanting to like not cross the professional lines or like all these things come into it, and all you're thinking is you keep reading because you want it to cross the line. So it was perfect in that way.
Okay, so let's give a blurb. A Very Bossy Billionaire by Scarlett Avery. It's this sizzling workplace romance that flips the script on office dynamics. Adeline, she's a confident, curvy, half Italian heroine. She finds herself entangled with Xavier Keller, who's this former European soccer star. I'm going to use European. Well, he is a European soccer star, but he's also American citizen. But he's turned into this domineering billionaire boss of a plus size fashion empire. Particularly like bathing suit and lingerie is kind of like their focus moving like in this book. Their chemistry is off the charts. It leads to this roller coaster of passion, power plays, and unexpected vulnerability. And then you add in like this meddling Italian family of hers, and you got this page turner that's equal parts steamy and heartwarming. And that is a
Yes.
blurb. And that's how I feel about the book.
Yeah, and I will say part of my blurb is that from like the first chapter, the book had me hooked. And that doesn't happen as often as I would like. You know, where you're oftentimes they're laying the groundwork for the world building, relationship building, the people in the book and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it's really heavy on that and it's not as much of a page turner. That wasn't the case. And the sexual chemistry between Xavier and Adeline is electric, rivaling like any rom-com that I've watched. Like you could feel it unveiling. It was exciting and you were rooting them on. And if you're a fan of a slow burn tension that explodes into fiery passion, then you're definitely in for a treat. What really kind of stood out to me was the dynamic between Xavier and Adeline. Giving you, first of all, give me a billionaire, unapologetically obsessed with the main female character, and I'm sold every time. Like that's something, billionaire and obsession, like that is my sweet spot. And their initial blind connection on an app woven into the real life world, followed by that chance meeting in a hotel, was like chef's kiss to me. It felt serendipitous without being overdone, or like, even though I had expectations of kind of what was going to happen, which we do a lot with books because we read a lot of books, it still was really good. And the fifth act difficulty, which always typically comes with these types of books, and it's usually something I dread or get angry with, literally, they were handled creatively and didn't bother me at all, which is unusual for me, because the author really managed to keep the drama engaging and believable, which is no small feat with like kind of a rom-com. So the banter, the wittiness, the sexual tension, this book was wrapped up in like a big red bow for me.
I knew that reading the sample. I
Yes.
like when I read the sample, it was this kind of, I want to say snarky female main character. She's curvy. She's kind of like down on her luck a little bit. And then she does an app. There is dialogue through texting, which is one thing that I love, and I have no idea why. I have no idea why I like this, but I do. And then she has this chance encounter at the bar with this like handsome man, and I'm like, oh, this is Jen written all over it. Like these, I mean, I like these things as well. However, it's not my bread and butter. I like morally black male characters that are not they're like alpha holes to everybody else, but they're cinnamon ooey gooiness to her, and they will like basically touch her and I will chop your hands off. Like that's what I love.
We read a lot of those because we both love them
in books.
But for a palate cleanser, this was awesome.
It was good. So
I also really loved, probably because I'm Italian, I love that they talked about her Italian family and shared the Italian guilt like throughout the book, because I can completely relate to that. And also how the family is loud. Like that's my family. So I really loved that. What did you not like about it?
Oh, do we have to do that? I have like, let me see how many times I wrote. His accent. I had a hard time figuring out the dynamics of his accent, because he has this strong English accent which his older brother, does not. And he is this American raised, spending summers in Spain, but a few years in England to play soccer. And so he has this English accent. Now, this is coming from a person who, if I meet you, I will immediately pick up on your mannerisms. I will immediately pick up on your facial expressions and your accent. Like, I can't help it. It's just like, so I get going over to Europe and speaking in their dialect. But now he's stateside. Why does he have an accent? I that threw me for a loop. Also, she's this brilliant lawyer turned tutor, right? To help people pass the bar, turned executive assistant, but she just comes across sometimes as like airheaded, like not level headed and not to be this brilliant, intelligent female. I just felt like it was kind of a letdown that she couldn't stand on her own 2 feet sometimes.
I totally agree with that. I was like, stick up for yourself. Like, hello, like stand up. I just didn't quite get it. For me, and we talked about this as well.
Oh my gosh. I know what you're saying. I think that was my next bullet point. Oh my
gosh. This was like what, about 60% into the book, maybe? I don't remember specifics, but I literally counted. So the word hedonistic was thrown around way too, like, be creative. Like, the rest of the book was so creative, and she used it like 12 different times.
There was a few words which were repetitive, like 12 times for that. And I found myself checking the definition of one word. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't that one. It was another one. And I was like, this is not.
It didn't fit.
It didn't fit. It was far-fetched to use it in that writing, especially for like internal dialogue. Like, maybe I'm just not as brilliant as these characters in this book. And that's highly possible. But I was like, I do not use those words in my internal dialogue. Like, I don't know. It was just, that was far-fetched.
It was like she was reaching for words and would just used one that she had already been using like multiple times.
But
and again, it could be edits that that she didn't even do, and maybe it was edited. I don't know.
I had to look up the word because I was like, I don't think I'm using this word correctly. And I was like, no, that's what I thought it was. I was like, and then I reached out to you and I was like, are you noticing this? It was really funny. There was also a scene that's described by these two ruthless women with ill intent to like crush the female main character's heart. And for some reason, I had such a difficult time reading that bit that I skimmed it. Like, I could not fathom women being that cruel to another woman.
Yes, that was very disappointing. Sadly, it happens. So it was something sort of real, I guess, put into the book. I mean,
I can understand
things like that happen.
I can understand how it happens. I don't want to think women are that ruthless.
It's sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was also like just a few like grammatical errors, especially with punctuations, and words were used in the wrong pretense, but I kept reading. I just noticed them and I was like, oh, that's not how you say that. But that's okay.
I did love the dedication. Do you want to read the dedication?
Yes. So the dedication is to those of us who want to be seen, desired, and worshiped just the way we are. With imperfections and all, Mr. Keller will see you in his office now. When I read it, it gave me very much Bridget Jones' Diary. At the end, when Colin Firth says, I love you just the way you are. And I was like, oh.
Yes.
When I read it, those vibes.
And I liked his obsession with her too.
Yes. So they did have nicknames, and I know that's something you love. Would you like to say them?
Mm-hmm. No, because I didn't write them down for this one. So you can go ahead and say them.
So Xavier called Adeline beautiful. That was his nickname for her. And then he had a couple of nicknames from childhood and his football career. and it was X-Man and Xavier, and that is crucial to know in the book. I'm going to talk a little bit about the book boyfriend because we all know I like to talk about book boyfriends.
Yes.
His name was Xavier Keller. He was a dominant alpha, very protective, very passionate. His quirks were, I wouldn't say they were quirks, but he has this British accent. We all know my thoughts on this. He's a former athlete, so his past is as a European soccer star, and that influenced his disciplined lifestyle, which they talk about. He's also a fashion mogul. Is that how you say it?
Fashion mogul.
Yeah,
Yep.
it just sounds weird. I don't think I use that term often. At least not like verbally stating it, but I do type it apparently. But he runs this plus size fashion empire. He's got a keen eye for style and detail, and that plays a role in it. Dude, she had like the best job. I'm just gonna say that because she got like robo allowance. Hello. But he is like the epitome of a bossy billionaire who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to take it. Making him an irresistible book boyfriend for those who crave a blend of that dominance, passion, and just a smidge of vulnerability. He was lovely.
He was good.
Yeah.
An ex-athlete. Oof. Yeah, he's good.
Like I said, there was like a few things which irked me about the book. However, I overlooked them because it was everything I needed in that moment. I obsessed MMC, who was determined to take care of this female main character who was curvy, who had brains, quick wit, and a ride or die bestie. And they had this amazing meet cute, which was disastrously hilarious, turned spice. Like, boom. So I like this book a lot. What were your favorite quotes?
Okay, so I have 1,000, so I'm gonna try to like sort through them. So we'll just go.
10.
Well,
how about
we'll go back and forth?
Okay,
because then I can read while you're reading yours for the next one. Okay, so and this is oftentimes the quotes that I have are sections where I think the author shines, like, or it's so funny or it's so good. So this is one of those about the author. This is a sentence. Gail requests another pot of green tea, her third. Jesus, the woman must be a camel since she hasn't once excused herself to go to the bathroom, and she even downed a couple shots of sake.
That scenario was so cringeworthy. That
yes.
I was like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't get like sued. Like it was so bad.
It was bad.
Let's see. Let me see one of mine. I started writing more. Not just the quote, but it's like some stuff around it because I know. So Xavier says, I could be a lot more forward and tell you I wanted my lips on yours since the moment we locked eyes. That's all I give you. That's all I give you on that one. Because I was just like, oh, thanks. Please.
This is one that reminded me of you. Not that you've said this at all, but like this is kind of your snarkiness. All the blood in my body whooshes to my lady parts. I fan my face because fanning my pussy in public would be obscene.
Yes, I can't. Let's see. One is this sensual electrical charge pulsing between us is so strong. Why fight it? Let's do something about it, Xavier says. She nods again. I want words, beautiful. Yes. Yes, what? Yes, please kiss me. Thank the fuck. In a flash of uncontrollable fury, I clasp my hands around her head, pull her face to me, and crush my greedy mouth against hers. Fuck.
That was one of mine too. So good. It's so good. Okay. But let's focus on now, I say, after tasting one set of lips, I'm now dying to taste the other. You can't possibly be serious. I am, I assure her. You're just going to, she points between her legs. Yes, I'm going to gorge on your pussy until I'm drunk. I was like, ah!
Damn. I did not say that. Oh. Okay, so mine is Xavier. Again, your orgasm would be so mind-blowing you'd forget your own name. Is that even possible? It would be with me. Her eyelashes flutter, disbelief painted on her beautiful face. Yes. The word comes out like a plea. What are you saying yes to, beautiful? I'm saying yes to it all. She's babbling, and I fucking love it. Oh, I just love how he's obsessed with her already. And this was like in the
I
first like
know.
few chapters. I was like,
Oh my God, I know. Xavier, if you ask me for something in no uncertain terms, I will give it to you. But if you don't ask, I can't read your mind. Words. I always want words. He, by the way, folks, if you like dirty talk,
oh, he was very good at it.
I mean, yeah, he was filthy. It was great.
I have so many. Bloody hell. I was certain jerking off this morning in the shower would help my cause, but no, I'm still sporting a mighty stiffy and it's all her fault. Addie looks like my filthiest wet dreams on steroids. I shift in hopes of adjusting myself without touching my cock. The filthiest wet dreams on steroids got me. I was just like,
It is like it's taking like a normal sentence that you read in a book and just again you putting it on steroids. The writing was amazing. I think that's why you and I were disappointed in some of the writing or reusing words that were just not like
yeah.
helpful to the story because the rest of it was so good. He's basically telling his designer that makes his clothes, he's giving them to her. And so he's telling this designer, fair warning, I swear his gaze intensifies on me. You'll be working with a pretty perfect canvas. I can't wait to see how our collection fits her. Oh my God, I'm taken aback by his words. No man has ever said anything like that about me. Xavier hangs up and I pick my jaw up from the floor.
Mm. I have two, so I'm only going to share one and I'll be done. Oh no, that was funny too.
No, well, I've got two more, so it's perfect.
Okay, so I bring her shredded panties to my nose and inhale. I growl. She blinks. Fuck, I'm in trouble. Why? I could get high on your heady scent. She blinks again. I tuck her panties in my pants pocket. Blink. 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 You're keeping them? I am. You expect me to walk out of this hotel pantyless? Would it be your first time going commando? Yes! You're welcome. She narrows her gaze at me. Good girls don't do innocent things like that. When I'm done with you, holding on to the pretense you're a good girl will be the last thing on your mind. Spread them wide. I was laughing so hard. I don't know. It was a good scene. I was laughing though because I was just like, okay.
With that, I turn on my heel. One last thing, Miss DeLuca. My steps halt. Yes, I say, turning around. He rubs his chin and he gives me a once over. Fishnet thigh highs are a nice touch. He all but growls, because he's a growler, by the way, folks. Pure, unadulterated lust rushes through me, and to my absolute horror, my body shivers. Good God. Can you have an orgasm from someone's words? Because I'm pretty sure I just did.
So good. He's so good. So this is one where his brother is talking about Adeline to him, and he tells him, nothing about that woman says once and done. Her wittiness is a delight and refreshing. She's drop dead gorgeous, like I said. She isn't pretentious about it. Dare I say, I'm not even certain she realizes how much of a knockout she is. I agree. She's oblivious to her beauty. And so, like, I get it, right? So I like this statement, right? I loved it. Like, she's not just one and done. Like, this is someone you marry, right? But the part that irks me about this quote is that they don't talk about how smart she's supposed to be.
I
I'm like,
know. I know.
yeah, she's witty, but like, come on. And she's delight and she's nice, but they just talk about her looks. And I don't know. I want a female main character that's what I need. I need a female main character
Yeah.
that's badass. But it was still
Yes.
it was good. And then at the end, oh, I'm gonna share this and then we're done. At the end, he punishes her for making him worried, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can all think about what that means whenever he punishes her. And so he says, you'll get one of those for every hour you had me worried. And then I'll fuck you from behind, admiring my handiwork on your perfect ass. I just.
And my last one, I'm like wanted to read their book again. Okay, and this one, naughty girls Wear naughty lingerie.
Ooh.
Are you going to be my naughty girl, Adeline? I'll be anything you want me to be. Where the hell did that come from? Such eagerness, little one, he says. So I felt like Xavier helped Adeline grow into her sexual awakening.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
To ask for what she wants. Do you know what I'm saying? And she needs to do that in real life, not just in sex. Like, I mean, she needed to have more confidence.
She did need more confidence in herself and how she looked. I agree. I thought this was a good book. This book's rating spice level, for some reason, I wrote a 4. And I think it's just because it was spicier than I thought like a typical rom-com-y would be. And there were some scenes that faded to black, but I still give it a 4, a low 4. But I think it all has to do with Xavier's dirty mouth. Like, his mouth was so dirty that it made it a 4 for me.
Yeah, I think I need to work on my ratings because I had a 3, but I think that's because the book before that we read before that was like so much more that it kind of dampened the spice on this one, if that makes sense.
Harem. We read a reverse harem before this. So
yeah, it was I felt like it was a 3, but his mouth could really make it a 4.
Yeah.
I would agree with that a little bit.
Perfect.
What about your overall?
I feel like I'm so mean. So Xavier Keller, epitome of the bossy billionaire. He knows what he wants, isn't afraid to take it, making him an irresistible book boyfriend for those who crave that blend of dominance, passion, and like I said, vulnerability. He gets a 4 on the boyfriend scale. I like to do book boyfriend scales too. So he gets a 4 for that. Out of 5 because
he's a 4 for sure.
He's no Callum Murphy, which is up there for me. He's no Nicholas, which we'll talk about on another episode. And this book delivered what I needed. Would I read again? Most likely not. But if you wanted an out of the slump book to get you back into reading with a spicy billionaire romance who celebrates Kirby size, meaning 16 plus, like not just 8 plus saying they're Kirby, but 16 and above women, then I would give you this title. So it was a 3 for me, but a 4 for what I needed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I felt like if you love obsessive billionaire and you love spicy moments and the banter that like keeps you laughing as well as swooning, then I think that this should be a book on your TBR list. But overall, I give it a 3 too. It's not something that I was telling my friends about. It's not something that I, like you said, I wouldn't read it again necessarily. But it was perfect for in between our darker books.
Yeah.
It was perfection.
Yeah. It was spicy. It was humor. I loved how she was supposed to be this smart, but she was witty and refreshing. So, and he was obsessed. So
we love our obsessions. Thank you so much for tuning in, babes. If you loved hanging out with us today, don't forget to check the show notes for all of the juicy details and the links.
You can also discover your next book boyfriend with our epic quiz, which is linked in our show notes. And of course, follow us for more spicy reads, hot takes, and unfiltered fun. Until next time, stay morally gray.